I'm Kyle Hilliard with MinnMax. This is my personal top 10 games of the year 2019. Number 10 is Untitled Goose Game, which became this crazy meme generator, but ultimately the reason that it's on my list is because I really like how the game wraps up in the end. It ended up being this really cool puzzle game when I went into it with an expectation of it just being sort of a goofy, silly indie game that I didn't even think I was going to finish, but my family and we really got into it and played it and enjoyed it. Number 9 is a game that I reviewed when I was still a Game Informer, and I was on the higher end of the sort of review scale, but my number 9 is Piece Worldseeker, which is an open world game based on the anime manga One Piece, and I just really liked the way you moved around the world. I liked slingshotting myself around. I liked the combat. I liked the visuals. I liked that it had this big open world to explore. It's a game that I've returned to over and over the year just to run around the world as Luffy. It's fun. I don't know why you guys hated it so much.
My number 8 is a VR game, Pistol Whip. I really liked it. It's the most fun I've had in VR since Beat Saber.
Number 7, Supraland. Supraland was an indie game that mechanically was inspired by Metroid Prime, I would say, and it really surprised me. It's not a game I was keeping an eye on or anything, but when it came out and I put a couple hours into it, I couldn't stop. I really loved it. It's really good. It's coming to console soon, so if you miss it on PC, you should play that. Supraland, it's good. Number 6 is an Apple arcade game, Grindstone. It's not explicitly a match 3 puzzle game, but it kind of fits in that genre. If you like match 3 puzzle games, you'll like Grindstone. I mean, it made me subscribe to Apple Arcade so I could keep playing it. I put so many hours into it, listened to a ton of podcasts while I was playing it, and I just really loved it. It's from Cappy Games. It's got a great style and is appropriately challenging throughout. Number 5, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I really like third-person action games, and I just thought this one was great. I think even if it didn't have Star Wars attached to it, I think I would still like it as just a cool sword action game with wall running and sort of, again, Metroid-inspired sort of world navigation and stuff like that. It's certainly not without its faults, but I really have been having a great time with it. I think it's my favorite Star Wars game of all time. Number 4 is Death Stranding for me. Death Stranding is one of those games that, like, if it doesn't click with you, I totally understand, but it happened to click with me. It's just, I've played nothing like it. It's really satisfying. It's weird as hell. I like Kojima being let off this leash in a weird way, even though he never was on a leash when he was working on Metal Gear. But number 3, Control. I really love Control. I love the shooting. I love the movement in the world. I like the setting. The oldest house is really interesting. I wanted to explore it in full. And the flying just felt great. Flying is really hard to pull off in a game, but I loved it in Control. It's so good. You should play that if you haven't already. Number 2, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I'm not the biggest From Software guy, and I went into Sekiro with expectations of, I'll enjoy this about as much as I've enjoyed their other games, but it really sucked me in a surprising way. I love moving around that world. I love the jumping. I love being able to have the hook shot. I like the counter system. It made bosses feel almost like puzzles to a certain degree. There's still a lot of skill involved there, but I was surprised how much I got into it, and I ended up playing it all the way through, and I really like Sekiro Shadows Die Twice a lot. And my number 1 game of 2019 is the same as MinnMax's. It's Resident Evil 2. I was hesitant earlier in the year when I was thinking about the best games of the year to do a remake, but ultimately it's just a fantastic game. Nostalgia aside, which I do have for Resident Evil 2, I played it on N64. I just think it's an awesome survival horror third-person shooter, and it just looks great, and it was intense and scary, and it was one of those games, I think most people, you play through one campaign, I immediately started the next campaign without pausing. I just wanted to keep going. Those are my top 10 games. Feel free to bug me in the comments below about how wrong I am, I guess. Please be nice.
Content like this is supported by the community on patreon.com/MinnMax.
And if you continue to support us and you're here long enough, you can even eventually hear me talk about Breath of the Wild 2.
Check us out. Thank you so much.